This is Michael Cassidy. Good to be with you again. We're going to be doing a nice, probably a 1, 2, 3 cut, probably a square hairline, kind of a forward type cut. Something a lot of people around South Carolina are wearing right now. I don't know what they do in your part of the country, but it's a real popular haircut. Starting out with a half, let's say a half an inch, a 1/4 inch, and a 1/8 blade is what we're going to be doing pretty much. So starting here, but now being that it's thinner here in this area, I'm not going to dig in too deep up here. I'm going to work right in here. Then I'm going to specialize on that right at the very end. I'm going to come in there and I'm going to scribe it out just a little bit. Make sure I don't get this too thin. I won't have any good bangs. I want to keep my integrity to my bangs here, a thick enough bang here. If I go to cutting up in here too much, I'm liable to get up in here and get rid of too much of the bang. I want to keep the integrity of the hairstyle. And I always go down a little bit shorter. I notice a lot of people when I cut like this and I leave something, say, "What you going to do about that?" I said, "Well, when I get to it, I'm going to cut it," but I hadn't got to it yet. I had one guy, I think he was real paranoid or something. He'd been to got several bad haircuts somewhere. And I was just doing it in sections, cutting, and he said, "What you going to do about that?" I said, "I'm going to cut it when I get to it." And then a little bit later, he said, "What you going to do about that?" I said, "I'm going to cut it when I get to it." So he was a little bit weary of it. I think he'd been around somebody who knew how to cut hair. I just kind of cut it in my sections at the time, and I'm not going to leave it. But if they don't know for sure what kind of barber you are when they come, they don't know if you're going to mop their hair up or whatever. They don't know what's going to happen. And so just kind of cutting my sections. And I like using the guard because there's no way I can cut it that good with a comb. I can't take a comb and make it that smooth. I can't take a scissor and fingers and do that smooth and get it that short and neat. So I've got to use, if I use these, it's going to be pretty much perfect. I can open the blade up a little bit with a 1/4 inch on it. Come in here and fade up a little bit. And I'll save myself something right here to work with, so make that blend. Sometimes you get these little swirls here, you might need to do a little extra attention to it. Maybe just go down a little bit, one blade lower, and just kind of fade it in right in here. And it'll last a little longer. You don't, about 2 or 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, it's liable to get it sticking up. So what you want to do is actually go a little shorter there, but make it fade in right in here. And then you can, I've noticed that's the way to do it and come out and the haircut looking good right on and on, you know. These guys are wanting something good for us, and it's important for women to realize too when they cut the man's hair that maybe you're listening from a beauty shop or something today. They want it where it's comfortable. Most men do, and women like their hair a little longer where they can work with it. And the downfall of a man cutting a woman's hair is cutting it too short. So, and the downfall of a woman cutting a man's hair is not getting enough off of it most of the time. So, it seems like that's something I've noticed over the years. People I've had working with me and all of myself too. So you can see that two didn't really annihilate that enough, you know. So what I'm gonna do is take this kind of one blade and kind of just stand in here and just take that out a little bit. And see the haircut still looks good and naturally. You have to go down just a little shorter on that little swirl, blend it in, fade it in right there. Then when this grows out, it's gonna catch up with this. It won't be sticking out above it as it grows. So that kind of finished my problem there, just annihilated that problem right there. That's just something I've kind of learned over the years. I'm going to open the blade up just a little bit with a 1/8 blade on it. I'm going to fade this in some. You notice where it comes off the head at, it's easy, it's nothing. I mean, it's easy. So it's just where the head changes all through here. What we're doing is taking that off where it changes at. Hello? Hello? Okay. See, if you're not using these guards, you're missing it. I didn't use guards. I thought it was cheating when I just used a comb and a clipper. And I could never, you never get quite as neat a haircut with a comb and clipper as you do with a guard. You can work on it, but it's hard to get it the very exact same length on both sides. When you use this guard, you're gonna come in there, you're missing it if you don't use them. And you're making your job about twice as hard. I remember times we just used scissor cutting. If you cut 15 to 20 heads with a scissors, you had a job. Now if you cut 20 or 30 heads with this, it's not near as bad actually using guards. Not near as much work. But you see that this comes off the head and it fades in by itself, more or less. If I run this guard to the right place on the head and come off the head, it's going to fade in. You got this stuff growing up here. Just come down right here. Of course you know that. If you've been cutting hair any time at all, you know that. Let's go for a square look now. Of course, we got to come up to here with it. Get a nice square look. You say, well, you've seen a lot of these same haircuts over and over and over again, but really the way to learn is to see something over and over and over again. To hear it, to see it, to read it. There's different ways you learn. Quote it back to yourself. Okay. When you're sitting here meditating on these haircuts, you're actually learning. See these haircuts over and over and over, you're actually learning how to cut these haircuts. I I know I took the methods in trade teaching, and that's basically what you do is that's what makes America's military good, because they know how to practice and they train until they got it. They can fight even under pressure, even being nervous, even whatever. You know, the same way we cutting hair. If you know what you're doing, you're going through the job, you practice it enough, you'll be able to carry it on out and finish it and do it. See, that came out of the equation there, that soft look right here. It even came out, so we had to even deal with that, so that was good. Wish we put the square look on it. Bend the head down. Sometimes you almost get a U look here when they bend the head down. You almost get a little U look right here. And you got a little bit of that softness right there. Just go ahead and cut the whole area of the neck. Don't look for the hair. Go ahead and cut the whole area. If you don't, you're going to miss something. You let this thing glide. You don't press down on this thing. You don't use it like it's a double-edged razor. You let it glide. If you go to pressing, you're going to hurt it. Let it glide. Take the small end of your comb. You got to take pride in your work too. If you don't take a little pride in your work, you won't do your best work. Got a pretty decent looking neckline there. Okay. Looking pretty sharp. Of course, it's not quite finished. It's right there. Let me go back here. Would you like these sideburns up a little higher, or would you like them straight? It don't matter difference. Let's go right above the ear, because everybody's crying out for that now on the internet. They like to see it straight look over the ear. For some reason, that's the look they want now on the internet. And it's a sharp look. So we did this years ago too. We did everything straight over the ears. Back years and years ago, so it came back around to a certain extent, I believe. Everything we did was straight over the ears like that. When I started, we didn't use clippers at all. I didn't know what a buzz haircut was 30 years ago. I was just to the point where they quit using clippers and started using scissor cuts. Beauty shops would do it. If you went to barber college, you wanted to go somewhere where they could teach you how to style hair with scissors, layered cuts. And you didn't want to go somewhere where they want to teach you how to use a clipper, because nobody's getting a clipper haircut nowadays. So people see me doing scissor haircuts and doing longer type cuts, they don't understand it. But what they need to understand is that I was trained during that time, and so I've learned both of them. If they want something a little longer, it's my business to give them what they want. It's not my business to cut the hair off. I mean, you know, unless they want it. When I first started, I kind of cut everybody's hair off like I wanted it, and it don't work too good. I thought they wanted the money's worth, and I said, well, your money's worth is getting it like you wanted, I reckon. Trying to be a right good looking haircut. Got another one. It's hard to hold that short hair and to cut it too. Hold the comb too, so. Okay. I was going to come in here and cut this, but you know what I really need to do is come and get these bangs first, and I can see what I can put this together at right here. So actually, I would save myself some hair here, but not getting too deep right in here, coming too far up. I saved myself something to work with. If I'd have come a little too close here, that'd been gone. Get a YouTube look today, buddy. Okay, now let me dry this, then I can see. Got me new blow dryer, but she sent me enough cord with it, short. Excuse me. But you see here, it's bulky right here. So what I'm going to do is come in here and finish this bang, and I'm going to work right here. Then I'm going to come back here and I'm going to work this out. If I get this finished and get this correct, get it looking right, the bang right, then I can come in here and ease along with this and fade it in without getting my little thin part here out. I don't want to do that. And be a little thicker here. Let's just come in here and dice a little bit because it's thinner here and it'll match better. Soften it up a little bit. can see what I need to do here. By me saving myself something to work with, I can put it right together here. See? Make the other side look like that. That's what they make them mirrors for. Come in there and just do the same thing on both sides. Just look and see what you got. Come back in here. Fade this in right in here. Well, let's get it in view. Let's get a good close up of that. What I'm doing right there. Okay. And fade this inside. Okay, you kind of saw what I did there. Let's back it back off a little bit. Okay, put it this way, please, sir. Then I can look. Oh yeah, please, sir. Okay, then I can see just what I need to do by looking and getting in front. Now, turn your head that way and then turn back that way. Turn that away and then turn back that way. Okay, now I can see that it's level. Okay, now turn this way again. Okay. Okay, that's looking like something. Okay. Let's get right here. And okay. Now I need to actually come up right here a little bit. Okay, we can see that we got a little bulk, and let's put it right here. If I can see it again, right through here. See, this a little heavy right in here. Okay, we'll save that to last. We'll take our 3-blade again. Let me back this thing off a little bit. We can see the whole picture a little better. Okay. Let's work right in here a little bit. Stand this blade up. Let's work this thing in here a little bit. Don't want to get into this. I want to leave all this little area. I want to work right here a little bit. You'll notice, turn you hit this way a little bit. I want to work right there a little bit. That's where it's thicker at. I want to stay out of those bangs since we got fine bangs. Okay. Now let me just do a little something here. Do a little something. Still a little bit bulky. Okay, feed your head down, please, sir. Now, you got to have a good eye for this. It's hard to, you have to develop that eye, but I need to work a little bit more right here. So that's looking a little bit better now, I believe. I think I'm right on it now. Going down a little further here. Shave this. I could have done this haircut in 10 minutes, but it ain't gonna look like this if I did it in 10 minutes. So it turned out really good. I give him the very best haircut I've ever given him, I imagine, and probably I give him 100%, and it's just a little different than we usually do it. That's what I think makes the difference. It's a little bit different than what I usually cut it. So as far as the lines of it. So that's what made the difference there. But he got 100%, you know, by letting me do it for him. And I wanted people to see what the cut was all about. And this is an easy cut to do. This is a standard type cut you can do, no problem. Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for watching, folks.